And then over time, we eventually started to like her, and then we all enjoyed being around each other at the same time.
And then we enjoy hanging out more than you do with your daddy. And don't correct me. We're going to move on to the next question.
You're listening to the Nacho Kids Podcast, where we discuss all things step family related. Real stories, real people, real help. Your hosts are the creators of the Nacho Kids Method and the Nacho Kids Academy Step Family Coaching Team, Lori and David Sims.
Guess what today is?
Friday.
Friday the what?
First?
Yep.
Okay.
Which means?
We got 364 more days left of this mess. 2020's gone.
And happy
New Year.
Finally. Well, we can tell this year's starting off great.
It's just another day. It's not like you wake up and then like all the stuff from 2020 just disappears.
But a lot of times people have goals and New Year's resolutions. So it's a time to start over, out with the old, in with the new.
Okay. I agree with that.
And people don't do that on December 1st.
No, they're too busy shopping. So January 1st, they're looking around like, what can we throw away? Because we got too much junk now.
Okay.
So it's out with the old, in with the new. For some people, that might be relationships. Who knows?
Never know. See if we're here next week.
But we're here to stop all that relationship throwing outness.
Throwing outness?
Yeah.
How are we going to do that, David?
We're going to save your blend and your sanity.
How are we going to do that?
We're going to do that one tiny step at a time.
What's your first step?
First step is for you, or excuse me, hypothetically you, is for you to calm down. Just listen to the waves crashing against the shore.
Oh my God, we are not doing meditation albums. All right, so let's talk about some things that people may want to have for resolutions for their blend for the new year.
Okay. Let's see. Number one, is this me and like my resolutions or like what I think people should have for theirs?
Just in general.
In general. Okay. Resolution number one.
Stop fighting with your significant other.
Now that's a good one.
All right.
You could take all the Nacho rules and make them resolutions.
Yes, you could.
Like, don't say anything negative to or about stepkids.
All right. We'll let that be number one.
That's number one.
Number two.
Which means for a lot of you, you won't say anything for a long time.
Yep. Number two, let the bio parent parent.
Such a novel idea.
Yes.
All right. That's 3 resolutions already.
Well, I just said number two.
I'm counting different than you are.
Well, I kind of started over when you said the nacho things instead.
Okay.
All right. So we got 3.
All right.
Okay. Stop fighting with your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say anything negative to or about the stepkids.
Mm-hmm.
Let the bio parent parent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's 3. Should we keep going or should we stop there?
Let's give them a round number 5.
Okay. A round number of 5. All right. Number 4.
Number 4. How about take this year to work on yourself personally? So don't just look around at what everybody else needs to fix and what all everybody else is doing wrong. Do some self-inflection and reflection.
Which is part of the Nacho Kids.
It is.
Okay.
So take a look at yourself and see what can you do to be better every single day.
And realize that others in the blend are struggling as well.
Okay. Are you compounding or is this another one?
Well, I don't know.
All right. And then the 5th one and last one. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's the last thing that you can consider. But number 5
is every day you survive the blend, celebrate.
Man, there's going to be a lot of alcoholics out there.
No, I didn't say go get drinking.
Oh, okay. Just celebrate that you made it.
Right.
Okay. I got another one to kind of put on to that one.
Oh, great. Now we're at 6.
No, I'm just compounding.
Okay.
You're saying celebrate each day that you make it. I would also say to strive to just make tomorrow just 1% better than today.
Isn't that kind of what you said before?
No.
Okay.
So don't look at all the problems you have and try to solve everything at one time. but just try to make tomorrow better than today. Try to make today better than yesterday, and do that in very, very small incremental wins, and you'll get there.
I swear you said that on the last one.
On the last podcast?
No, on the last thing. Because you were like, just improve every day.
Yeah, but I'm saying how to improve every day.
Oh.
See, before I said just improve every day. Now I'm breaking it down a little bit further to say just improve 1% every day. Not 100% every day, because you can't do it. And then you'll just stop.
Okay. Let's talk about our guest for today.
So our guest for today is somebody that's near and dear to my heart.
And it's not me.
It's not you. It's a person I love with all my heart.
Oh, great. You're going to upset somebody else. Three other somebody else's.
No, because I love them too. So, for those of you who've been around for a while, you know that one of my sons came on the podcast back in episode 10. It was Branson. And so today,
shout out to Branson. Woo, Brant's pants.
So today we have Ethan, one of my other sons. He's one of the triplets, as you'll learn in the interview. And so is Branson. But you're going to get his side of the story, because we often talk about how kids in the same household have different views. And we talk a little bit about that during the interview, about how everybody kind of handled things differently, even though everybody was going through the same stuff.
And his interview is a lot different than Branson's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And so just like the previous interview with Branson, I think that during this interview, we learn a lot of the things that kids have to go through or are going through that a lot of times we don't take into consideration. We're hung up with all the stresses and struggles that we're going through, and we don't really put a lot of thought into what is everybody else having to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And from Ethan's perspective, we ask him questions like, what do you think that Lori could have done differently? That
reminds me. I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things when we took all the kids to Mr. Butler.
Right, the counselor.
I
know where you're going with the story.
Now, remember, folks, I was abusing these kids, right?
That was
the perception.
Yeah.
As I was abusing them. So Mr. Butler sat down with them and said, what could Lori do to better her relationship with y'all? Now, remember, these are abused youngins.
Not physically.
But
emotionally.
Yeah. I mean, they're just down and out. They're distraught. I'm horrible. They want me out. Their response was,
take me to Disney World. I remember that. I remember walking out of there going, I should choke them all.
But I think that was great. That was a win for me.
Yeah.
For sure, because you really thought that I was traumatizing your kids. But their response proved differently. It wasn't her leave. It wasn't her not ever talk to us. It wasn't her get anger management counseling. It was, take us to Disney. That'll make things better.
Well, I'm not saying they don't need to be in counseling now because of it.
David. Great.
But I am saying that definitely put things in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not expect that answer.
Didn't surprise me a bit.
And I think for me, a lot of things changed after that, because it was kind of more of a, all these things you say that are so bad. And then when asked, when given the opportunity with nobody else around, when given the opportunity to give an answer about what could be done to improve things, the response was take me to Disney World. Now, but this also really, now looking back on it, I think this talks a lot to the mindset of kids, because they were, 10?
No, they were closer to 12.
12? Okay. So they're 12 years old. And, my oldest is 13. So
we'll say 11.
All right. So 11 and 12-year-olds, you got 4 11/12-year-olds, and their response to that question is taking me to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
If I ask them that same question today, looking back on it, what do you think the answer should be? I think they'd give you something very different. I think that it just goes to show they don't have the same type of mindset, and they certainly don't have the decision-making and problem-solving abilities. And so they don't know how to answer a question like, what can we do to solve this problem?
Right. But they are not 5.
No.
They were old enough to complain about me constantly to anybody that would listen. So when asked, their response was, let the person we complain about take us to Disney. It'll make things better.
I honestly wonder, if that wasn't Avery's response, because Avery was a knucklehead that always said the craziest stuff. And everybody else just was like, oh, yeah, that sounds great.
No, I don't see Avery responding to anything.
Yeah, but maybe not. But if he's going to respond, it's going to be something that's so corny. I can just see him saying something like that just to try to get a laugh or to lighten up the situation. And then everybody else going, oh, that's a great idea. I mean, I know they didn't all get together and say, let's come up with this answer. Somebody had to spit it out first.
I don't know.
But yeah, we'll never know because we weren't there.
But it did change the perspective on things to where, things aren't so bad. They were bad, but not to the extent that I guess you felt like they were.
Well, it took a lot of pressure off of me after that because I felt like I was at a breaking point and I felt like they were at a breaking point. And then leaving that session, I didn't feel that way anymore. I didn't feel that they were as distraught and at some breaking point. And therefore, it took a lot of pressure off of me to have to do something drastic.
And no, I did not, and we did not take them to Disney.
No, we did not.
That's not your reward. All right, so let's quit yapping and get to listening.
All right, so here's an interview with one of my triplet sons, Ethan, and we'll talk more after this interview.
There is a way to save your sanity and your relationship, and it's called the Nacho Kids Academy. In the Nacho Kids Academy, you will learn the skills and knowledge to properly nacho, techniques to handle step-family challenges, ways to improve your communication, and much, much more. Visit NachoKidsAcademy.com and sign up today to join other step-parents who are seeing the life-changing benefits of nachoing. Again, that's NachoKidsAcademy.com.
We have a very special guest today.
Indeed, we do.
And who are you?
I'm Ethan Sims. I'm David's son and Lori's stepson. Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah, so all the way back in episode 10 of the podcast, we interviewed your brother.
Yes.
Your older brother by 1 minute.
Yeah.
So Ethan is actually probably 2 minutes, maybe.
I was going to say, wasn't Mason in the middle?
Yeah.
Mason was in the middle, but see, the birth certificate said it took a minute each, but I was there, and it was pretty fast pitch.
Yeah, we're all born at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much. It was all at the same time, but
Nanoseconds apart.
the birth certificate says a minute apart, but no, it didn't take that long. They were snatching them youngins out quickly.
Oh, man.
But Ethan is one of the triplets.
That's right.
And what we want to do today is get his kind of viewpoint of how things were in the blend and let him just talk about how it was for him. I think often people forget as they're going through a lot of their blended struggles what the kids are going through and what their viewpoint is. And Ethan, you are now, what, 20 years old?
20 years old, that's right.
And so we started blending when, Lori? When
He was 9.
8, 9? Well,
9, yeah.
we're dating when you were 8.
Yeah, married when I was 10, right?
I don't know.
Or 9?
Yeah.
9,
When,
10.
yeah.
Yeah.
When did we get married?
October 10th.
We just celebrated 11 years and
Okay,
he's 20.
okay.
So
Okay,
All right. Yeah, you were 9 when we got
do
married.
some math. All right. So, I mean, that's a long time for you. That's like half your life ago. So,
Yeah.
I'm hoping you can recall some of the things that were good, bad, ugly, indifferent. So take us back, your viewpoint, take us back to the time where all of a sudden there's this lady with this bratty kid.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at him.
There's this lady with this young baby kid, 4 years old, 3 probably.
He was 3 years old.
And she's and you meet her and come to find out months and months later, we're engaged. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I'd say we actually kind of liked Lori and Jackson at first. I would say like in the early, or like as soon as we met them, we kind of liked them a little bit. And then when finding out you guys were engaged, that was a big thing. I probably didn't even know what that meant at the time. I don't even know. But it was definitely a shocker to find out because at the time I kept wanting you and my mom to get back together. I didn't know why you weren't together. And then all of a sudden you're engaged to someone that's not her. So I was definitely taken back by it for sure.
So my question for you is, when your dad and I were dating, you didn't really have an issue with that. But once you figured out I was going to be more permanent, that's when you're like, wait a minute, that means mom and dad won't get back together.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
But I'm curious, and you probably don't know because it was a long time ago, why you didn't think that when we were dating. I know your dad had an influx of women over here all the time. And so I was just the next one. It was no big deal.
We didn't meet all of them.
Thank God.
Oh, man.
That's why they have every other weekend.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh, crap. This is kind of...
It's more permanent now.
Yeah, she's not going away.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, at least I didn't come up like some people and say, here's your new mommy.
Yeah, out of nowhere. That'd have been crazy.
That would have went worse than it did.
Yep.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so we got married. And if I recall, you had a good time at
the wedding was great.
The wedding, yeah, everybody enjoyed it. And it was all this excitement around all the newness of what was going to happen.
Y'all were all dapper in your little tuxes.
Yeah, very clean looking.
Yep. And so I don't know. I guess the first year, it was kind of everybody adjusting to everything. Nothing, completely out of the ordinary. But things started going downhill. What did you see, you and your brothers? Because I know everybody talked all the time. Because you and your three brothers are close, almost. Well, two of you same age, and one of you, Avery's the oldest, but he's only like a year and a half older, so he's still not that much. So you guys were talking all the time. I'm sure instead of sleeping at night, you're upstairs, you're whispering amongst each other. What's going on here?
Bashing Lori.
We don't like this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So take us back to some of those.
Well, at first, it was, of course, the wedding was great. And then she moved in and Jackson was there all the time. They were both there all the time instead of just, sometimes. So, of course, for all of us, we were all tight-knit brothers. And then bringing Jackson in, we didn't really accept him as our brother. He was just an annoying little kid that we always made cry a lot. And then we always got in trouble for it. So we never really were a fan of that. And then Lori, first coming into our lives, she was playing the role of a mother when she wasn't our mother. And then we that rubbed me the wrong way because, of course, I still wanted you and my mom to be together. And then Lori was trying to play the same role. And I was like, you're not my mom. So why are you trying to be my mom,
I don't ever remember y'all telling me that, though.
Well, I never told you, but I mean, I just,
it's just the way you felt.
That's the way I felt.
Right. But I know a lot of kids
would tell you that. Yeah.
A lot of kids would tell the stepmom, you're not my mom.
Well, let me ask you this. What made you feel like she was trying to be your mom? What was she doing to make you feel that way?
I mean, it was just, we didn't really like her. So it'd be any little thing like go brush your teeth, go do this, go do that. Like just anything she would tell us to do. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like she's not my mom. I don't know why she's trying to tell me what to do all the time, but she's an adult, so I got to listen to her. Now, I don't want to get in trouble. But then every time we would make Jackson cry, which is a lot, we would always get in trouble from her. And then you would get in trouble from you. So just anything that she would tell us to do, any little thing, even if it was something we were supposed to do, like I'd rather hear it from you than from her, so that was it.
Okay.
So do you think that you went from, okay, she's okay and this kid's okay, to they are both here all the time. My mom and dad aren't getting back together, so now we hate her?
I believe that was kind of part of it.
Like I didn't have a chance.
At the time, it was like him and my mom, there's no hope for them anymore. And now there's this new woman coming in that's trying to play the role of my mom when she's not. And I think that was a big thing that rubbed us the wrong way.
So you feel like if Lori would have come in, if we would have got married and Lori would have not told you what to do, not trying to give you directions on brushing your teeth or things that you should be doing, she wouldn't have done any of that. If it all would have been, I'm not your mom, go ask your dad, how would that turn out?
Probably better at first just because we knew her, but not like that. Like obviously not like a mother figure yet. So at the time she was just, your girlfriend or your wife, your new wife, but not a mother figure. So at the time we didn't like her telling us what to do, even if it was stuff that we knew we were supposed to do. We would feel better if you would have told us at first, because we weren't comfortable with her like that, for her to be giving us all these directions about what to do.
So basically you didn't have a relationship with her yet.
No.
And because there was no relationship there, it was kind of strange.
It was. Yes.
It's like a stranger telling you what to do.
Pretty much, in a sense, yeah.
You're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because I've actually seen little kids other places, like on a playground or something, and you say something like, hey, you might want to tie your shoe. And I've seen little kids go, you're not my dad. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I just said you need to tie your shoe.
Yeah.
Calm down.
They're probably part of a blended family.
I know.
That explains it.
Yep. Okay. So we get past the introductory period. And as Lori has often told the story, around year 2, things started going downhill.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you as you start seeing kind of the threads unraveling and nobody's getting along, everybody kind of miserable? You and your brothers probably hate coming back home from your moms or wherever you are. When you are here, you're probably trying to find someplace else to go. Maybe go visit with a friend or a family member or something.
Mm-hmm.
How was that when you look back on that and things were very stressful and bad in the relationship?
That was definitely like, obviously we had our good little moments, but those were few and far between at the time. Because, yeah, we wanted to be away from Lori and Jackson as much as possible. Never wanted to be near them or even breathe the same air as them, really. And every time Lori would say anything to us or whatever, we would just, not want to hear it or talk to her at all. So, of course, we liked coming back here to see you. But then we're like, oh, Lori's going to be there. So, that's not good. And then, of course, when everything started going downhill and, she got in a little argument with our grandma, and we did not like that at all because, it's our grandma. And, so that made us resent her even more than we already did because she got in an argument. Those two were arguing about something. But at first, it was rough. Not a big fan of it.
Right. So can you think back? Now, you mentioned the incident about your grandmother. Does that stand out because it was kind of the last straw for you, or does it stand out just because it was such a big blow up?
It was a big blow up.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was a big blow up. Because we would have our moments where Lori would say something, and we'd be like, "Oh my Lord, here we go again." And then just with Lori just talking, really, I don't know what about, but and then Jackson, we wouldn't want to include him in anything. But then with that was a big thing. We were all home, and they were arguing back and forth, and we were just like, "Oh man, like we don't know what to do." So we were gonna leave, and then you came home, and yeah, that was a big moment, a big blow up for all of us.
Right. Where are we all going to go?
To her house. We were trying to get Avery to come. Avery was like playing a computer game. We're like, come on, we're leaving.
He didn't even know anything was going on.
Avery was like, all right, we can go. And then like right when you pulled into the driveway, I was like, well, never mind. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, things continued to kind of get bad, but Lori and I were looking for ways to make things better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm skipping some time frames here because things really got a lot worse before they started getting better, to the point where Lori and I were about to get divorced, and I don't even know that you guys ever even knew that.
Yeah, they did. They were praying for it every night.
Well, I remember one night in particular, me and Branson were at the top of the steps listening to you guys argue at nighttime. I don't even know when or what time of night it was, but we heard you guys arguing in the middle of the night. And then like the next day, I think you asked us how we felt about y'all getting divorced or being together or something like that. And we all told you, yeah, you guys should get divorced. We think that'd be, great. We don't like her. And then obviously that didn't happen. And
I think my thought process back then, because I do recall having that conversation with him, it was more of, I want to understand how this is going to affect them. Like, is this going to be something where they're like, no, don't do it. We're going to go through another divorce situation, even though it's not the same. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
You really thought they were going to? Okay, never mind.
I honestly wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how they were going to take it.
But you got their hopes up when you asked them.
Well,
yes.
I don't know that. Well, yeah, I probably did.
Yeah, I did.
But we were at the point where honestly, I didn't think there was any hope anyway. I just didn't think we were going to recover from that. So I didn't know what that was going to look like, having to go through yet another divorce and all that. But I do recall one time, it might have been right after that, but I remember Branson either calling me or texting me or something the next time that they were come back and ask if you were still here. I was like, yeah, Lori's still here.
He did that quite often.
I think I remember that.
Okay, so after that happened, right around that time frame is when Lori and I, really started kind of digging in and trying to figure out what we can do to make things better. And I remember coming up and talking to you and your brothers quite frequently about what was going on and telling y'all things like, we're trying to make things better. And Lori's going through a tough time with the adjustments, and so is Jackson. They sold the house and moved to a completely different town. And so I'm trying to give you all these reasons why they're having to struggle with what's happening. And you guys didn't have to do anything as far as moving. You stayed in your same house, and, nothing really changed from your day to day, and it all changed for them. How did you feel about any of that? Did you feel like, well, okay, I have some empathy because of that?
Not this one. I know he did.
I didn't have any sympathy for them, to be honest. It kind of went in one ear, not the other. I heard you were saying, I was like, well, I still don't like her. No excuses.
Is there any moment you can remember where it was just like, I've had enough of this with her? Like something that happened?
I remember one time, I forgot what, I think it was about like a Yoo-Hoo can or something, but she started arguing with Branson about something. And, we're all close-knit brothers, so she started arguing with Branson about something, and I got upset at her because she was trying to argue with Branson, and, she was messing with my brother, so that really sent me over the edge and kind of made me dislike her a lot more than I already did. So that was another big moment where
that's the moment you were standing at the top of the stairs, bucking your chest up at me.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I was doing that.
Like, come on. I'm thinking, oh Lord, this ain't good.
Yeah,
he had the higher ground.
He did. And he's thinking by the time she gets up these steps, she's gonna be tired.
I can knock her right back down.
yeah, just tumble her down the steps. Yeah, I do remember that.
So Lori's convinced that you guys, and she says this a lot, but she's convinced that you guys were making plans to burn her at the stake. Was there ever a moment or time where you guys were trying to make any plans to harm Lori?
No, there wasn't.
Boy, I'm telling you. Whew.
We never planned to harm her, but we just...
I'm surprised.
She'd disappear somewhere.
Wish she'd disappear.
You wish I'd go away, but you weren't going to...
Yes, we weren't going to take any actions to make you go away.
Yeah, I remember telling your dad, I'm like, there's 4 of them. They could drag me outside, tie me to a tree, and use Jackson as kindling.
Yeah, I was like, be careful. Don't say that too loud. They get some ideas.
Yeah.
So as you start seeing things get better, what do you see first? Like, how does it first come to your attention that, okay, something's changing here because it's all of a sudden not quite so stressful? Did you notice when Lori started stepping back, we talk about how the disengagement process is kind of the very first step in the Nacho Kids method, just to take the pressure off. It doesn't work on any of the problems. It just kind of, relieves a lot of the pressure. So when you started seeing Lori, quote unquote, disappearing into the bedroom and watching TV, all night long, did you notice that initially?
I believe so, yes. I just noticed, I didn't really care why, but just noticed that there was less of Lori around the house, and we didn't see her as often. She'd be in the room or in the office or wherever doing work or taking a nap or watching TV, but she wasn't in our hair, so I enjoyed it. It was nice, because she wasn't always in our business or something, or just around us. So I enjoyed it, but I noticed at first.
Okay. So you noticed she wasn't there, and apparently things were getting better because she wasn't telling you what to do anymore, wasn't trying to fight with you at the bottom of the steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything about that time period that you remember specifically?
Nothing in particular. We just enjoyed our time more. We're like, Lori's not here. Lori's not bothering us, so we can do it. We can do more of what we want to do without having to worry about her. Did
you notice that she wasn't telling you what to do anymore? Or as much, anyway, initially?
When I was around?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It was more of you telling us stuff instead of her telling us what to do.
I'd say, go ask your dad.
Yeah. A lot of that. A lot of that stuff.
Can we go to Mama's? Go ask your dad.
Yeah, pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Go ask your dad. And of course, then she'd start pulling this whole stuff. If I was your mom, I wouldn't make you go to school.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Thanks, Lori.
Yeah.
You'd be like, man, I don't want to go to school. Or one of y'all would say that. And I was like, if I was your mom, I wouldn't make you go to school today.
Yeah, thanks.
Like, wow, that's great.
Like, oh man, she's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where, I don't know that there was one thing that you or any of your brothers were like, wow, things are just massively different now? I think it was like such a slow process.
Yeah, it definitely took time. Definitely took a good amount of time to all of us to get used to her and develop a liking for her and all that.
Yeah, I would say it probably took us 2 to 2.5 years to completely almost fall apart, and took us another 3-4 years to put everything
No, I don't think it took that long to put everything back together.
I think to the point that things were really good, but
Yeah, I would say that.
but there too, we had the disadvantage of trying to figure things out as we went. We didn't have a roadmap. We didn't have the Nacho Kids method to follow at the time.
Yeah.
So things would have been a lot faster.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
So one thing that we never talked to you about necessarily, really, well, I didn't, wasn't really telling you what was going on. Like, I wasn't telling you, okay, Lori's going to do this and Lori's going to not do that, and we're trying X, Y, and Z to happen. You just kind of noticed things were starting to get different.
Yes. It definitely wasn't overnight, but over time, gradually, I noticed that Lori was starting to get better for us, and we started to enjoy her more, enjoy her presence a little more. And then over time, we eventually started to like her, and then we all enjoyed being around each other at the same time.
And then we enjoy hanging out more than you do with your daddy. And don't correct me. We're going to move on to the next question.
Yeah.
I do remember your dad sent me a text or something one day that said, the kids want to show you something when they get home. And I was like, what? They want to show me something? And then it seemed like from that point forward, when y'all would come in, it'd be like, Lori, it was good because, before I dreaded y'all coming in the door and you dreaded coming in the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to a lot of the times where I would look for ways to cause a positive interaction between you and Lori, you being you and your brothers. And so oftentimes the candy that she would give you was stuff that I bought.
Not all the time, though.
No, not all the time. But I would bring it home because I did that often. If I went to the store, I'd pick up a candy bar or a drink for everybody or something like that. And so I'd come home and I'd say, hey, Lori, do you want to give this to the kids? And, tell them you got them something. And she'd be like, I didn't get them anything. And I'm like,
I'm not lying.
I said, don't say you bought it for them. Say you have them something. I'm giving it to you. You give it to them. You have something for them. But she would give you things like that. And I think that stuff like that started kind of chipping away at that stone that all y'all had around you.
Yeah.
The wall that you weren't going to let anybody in. Talk about this. Talk about how did you feel toward me when all these things were happening? Because, obviously I'm your dad, I love you and all that, but was there a strain in our relationship when all this was going on?
I don't think there was a big strain. I mean, we of course were a little upset with you and a little mad just because you were with Lori, but not towards you at all, because we still had a great bond with you and like a good relationship. Mm-hmm. But I mean, most of the anger was just towards Lori. We didn't really direct it at you.
You felt sorry for him, didn't you?
Maybe so. We were just mad that you were with Lori, but not mad at you. So that was really about it. So
you never felt like, well, if he really loved us, he would make her leave.
At times, probably. At times, be like, why is he doing this to us? Why don't he just leave her already? We're suffering over here.
See, when you say that, though, David, I think that's something Branson would say, not Ethan.
I probably thought it.
Yeah.
I probably just say it to Branson.
Branson just
hey, wait a minute. So you mean all that stuff coming out of Branson's mouth was not him? It was you feeding it to him?
It's probably all of us.
He was your mouthpiece. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. They're having these little meetings with him and his 3 brothers. Avery's playing video games. Mason's off in his own little world doing it. So it's really just him and Branson having a conversation.
Mainly, yeah. Mm-mm. I never felt like a disconnect to you or anything.
Okay.
Just toward Lori. That was it.
Just toward Lori.
Yeah.
Poor old Lori.
So think back about some things that happened that were really positive, like something that was good, it was fun, it sticks out in your memory as being like a moment where you're like, wow, this is great?
Definitely whenever Lori would give us stuff, I guess, whether it was you or her giving it, it was nice. Like if she would give some candy, we'd be like, oh man, thanks, Lori. This is great. And then like if we went to places, like if we went out somewhere like the Renaissance Festival or just to any fun, like Carowinds, any kind of fun place to go, if Lori would ever do anything fun with us, like join us get on a water slide or a roller coaster or go do a fun activity, that was always fun to do.
Yeah, because I usually got hurt and y'all thought that was funny.
It was funny to watch. So it was just fun. Yeah, whenever Lori would, like, I guess, try to participate with us or get us things, that was nice.
Now, this was more recent, but I do recall you and Lori having like go-kart battles at a racetrack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we were at, were we in Florida? Yeah, we were in Florida.
So.
And it was hot. It was a little crowded. And then I think David and everybody had kind of got tired. And so they decided to go back to the car. And Ethan and I were going to go around the track one more time.
Like 2 hours later.
Yeah. Next thing you know, I mean, we're having a blast. Just me and him racing each other. And
I'm running into her.
Yeah. And then we'd get off the thing, go, let's go again. Let's go again. Hurry up. And we'd run back around.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I remember the little water boats in that place.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would put my hand over the little water thing so it would squirt everybody.
Yeah, we got soaked. That day. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So there was scattered throughout that once we started, re-engaging, once Lori started re-engaging and the family started kind of feeling like more of a family unit, there was a lot of good times that were had after that. Now, at the point where you're feeling more comfortable with Lori and things like that, I know that there were lots of times where, you confided in Lori or you went to her with advice or she just came to you and gave you advice just because, she thought you needed it.
Yeah.
Is there any of those that stick out in your mind?
Let's go to the next question, David. I'm hoping your memory doesn't remember certain things.
I don't know. I remember one thing that, it wasn't advice that Lori gave me in particular, but it was something that she said that stuck with me and I use in life now that I'm older, especially is, I forgot who she was telling the story to, must've been you or one of us, that she was saying at work, they know that she'll never lie. She's known for never lying about anything. No matter what you ask her, no matter what you say to her, she'll never lie to you about it. Whether it will hurt your feelings or not, she will not lie to you. And that's, in my adult life, something that I try to implement in my life all the time, that no matter what it is, the truth is always the best. Truth before feelings.
There you go.
As I say.
So you made an impact, honey.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm shocked.
I remember 2 incidences that I would have talked about either to your dad or even to y'all. It could have just been a conversation in general about us talking about people lying, because there was a lady at work that I really liked, but I saw her lie to my boss all the time, which was her boss too. And I'm like, if she's lying to him, then she'll lie to me. So when she would tell me stuff, I'm like, is that true? I don't know. Let's spin the wheel and guess. Yeah. And then there was another time that at work, they wanted me to lie to a customer and I refused. I told them they could fire me, do whatever. I didn't care, but I was not lying about that. And I know that y'all used to pick on me because I'd say, don't lie. And you're like, everybody lies. I'm like, no, not everybody lies. And so that was a thing. Even when y'all were little, I'm like, don't ask me or I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I'll try not to be mean about it, but I do have an issue where, like, if you ask me something, I won't say that's none of your business. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I figure if you're ballsy enough to ask me, I'll tell you.
Especially like my friends now too. I try not, because a lot of people, a lot of your friends, they're like, yes, man. They'll just tell you something so they don't hurt your feelings or so you're not mad at them. But especially like, I want that to be given to me. I want someone to always be honest with me. So I always try to give that to people, to be honesty and just tell them like it is.
Because I'm sure you have a friend that one day you saw them lie to somebody.
Yeah.
And it made you think less of them because you're like, okay, you're not who I thought you were. And really the only thing that you have to give anybody is your word. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And I will say that I'm proud of Ethan in more ways. Ethan was the child that, not just me, I'm not the only one that thought this, Ethan, so don't get mad. We thought for sure that you'd get kicked out of school and knock somebody up by the time you were 16 or 17. We'll give you a little year there. But you were like the wild child. Yeah. You were the most rambunctious. Mm-hmm. You would run laps around everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Wide open all the time.
Yes. I mean, like off the chain, wide open. And, you know, after you left and stuff, you joined the Air Force.
Yes.
I wasn't really worried about you, but I didn't know that you would do as well as you have. Mm. And the reason I say that is because you and I had a conversation on my way to Rock Hill one day. So we talked like an hour.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you were like my little motivational speaker. And I'm like, you know what? The next time I get nervous about something, I'm calling Ethan. What in the world did I just say? I mean, you know.
I appreciate that.
I never saw that coming. Mm. And then you're like, yeah, I listen to these audiobooks. I'm like, what?
And then the kid that wouldn't study or anything?
Yeah, would sit there and look at his eraser for 2 hours and just, you know, like there was something entertaining on it. And, you know, and then you'll use words and I'm like, look at him using big words. I'm proud of you. And you're wanting to be an MMA fighter.
Yes.
Let me rephrase that. You're going to be an MMA fighter.
Well, I'm currently an MMA fighter. I'm already an MMA fighter.
He's just not professional.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
He's an unprofessional. No. I'm kidding.
Amateur.
I know the difference. But.
Oh, good. What are we going to do with her?
I don't know.
But that has been your goal for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Since I was 17.
And you just keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward. And even the plans that you have for when you get out of the Air Force are built around that dream that you have. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time you said something to me that you will ask people, if you could do anything in the world, what would you be doing? Mm-hmm. And they'll answer you and you'll say, well, why aren't you doing it?
Yes.
And I'm like, look at there. And then you've also said that people will say, okay, what's your plan B? If MMA is your plan A, what's your plan B? And you're like, I don't need a plan B.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at that confidence. Now, I will tell you that confidence / cockiness comes 199% from El Dado over there.
Yeah, I definitely get it from my dad, for sure.
Yes. But Ethan is also one of the kids that even if you were miserable, I never really heard you complain. Like, I've never heard you say, my life sucks. I've never heard you say, I wish my life was different. Or, now we've wished your life was different with certain girls, but that's a whole nother story.
Don't talk about her.
Yeah.
Her, I was thinking hers.
Plural.
Yeah.
Don't talk about them.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. But
email me, I'll tell you who they are.
Well, I tell you, it's funny because one of them that we thought nobody could ever make look better, she looks a whole lot better now.
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, your picker's broke.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Your picker and your scissors.
Oh, man.
Where was I going with that?
Talking about, no, I never complain.
Yeah, so you never really complained. I mean, you never got down in the dumps about stuff. You never walked around all sad, or you were just wide open all the time. And well, okay, either you were Ethan, normal Ethan, jacked up to the roof. I did see you mad quite a few times, not just towards me.
I had a temper problem when I was younger.
But towards the brothers.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm glad you kind of learned to tame that, because you would have been in jail.
Probably so.
For sure.
Probably would be.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with him one day. He said something like, I know I got anger issues or something like that. And I said, look, I don't care about your anger issues. What I care about is how you show it. You've got to funnel that somewhere else that's constructive. I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm saying funnel it. And I think he's learned to do that. I mean,
oh yeah, I've definitely learned a lot of self-discipline and self-control over the years, especially.
Oh, and he came home, I forget when it was, for like a break before you went to, I don't know, after you go to boot camp, you go here. And,
tech school.
Okay.
No, it was after tech school I came home.
Okay. And you came home, and that week or that day you got here, you're like, I'm going to teach myself how to do a backflip.
Yeah. Yes.
And we're like, okay.
I was home. I was home for 12 days, and whenever I got home, I said I'm going to learn a backflip before I leave here.
And I said, Lori, make sure our homeowner's insurance is paid up.
So I remember watching Jackson and your dad outside recording you doing your first attempt. We laughed. We all laughed so hard.
Oh, it was bad. I landed on my face in the grass. It was so bad.
It was hilarious. But within 3 days?
Yeah, it's 4
You had
4
it.
days. Yeah. In 4 days, I had it down.
And you would come in here and say, hey, come watch me do this. Or can you hold the phone and record me so I can see what I'm doing wrong? I mean, that was your focus. You have such drive for whatever your goal is that it's impressive. It's very impressive.
Thank
and
you.
not only that, but you don't let hiccups bring you down. Like when you face planted, you didn't think, oh, crap, I ain't doing that. You were like, all right, I did something wrong. Let me see what I did wrong.
No, I can tell you what he did. Once he started doing it right, he looks at me and goes, come on, Dad, we'll teach you how to do it. I'm like, no.
I think you said that to me too. Like, come on, we'll show you how to do it. I'm like, no, I would just bounce.
You know, at my MMA gym, I've taught, I think like 4 or 5 people how to do a backflip. And everybody asked me like, I want to learn how to backflip. Can you teach me? So I've taught a couple people how to do front flips, back flips, all types of stuff.
And you drug the mattress from upstairs outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed it. I kept face planting too much.
But you didn't give up.
No, I didn't. No.
And never once in your head did you think, I can't do this.
And the reason you didn't give up is because you saw me not giving up on Lori.
That's right. It all circles back.
Honestly, I joke about that, but that was part of my thought process is I don't want...
I'll stick it out with his old hag if, shows my kids that relationships are important.
Yeah, I don't want my kids seeing yet another relationship going down the tubes and they feel like that marriages are just throwaway or relationships in general, that you just throw them away when things get tough.
No, they don't think that.
Well, I know. Now I'm looking at them going, sometimes you need to throw away a relationship, boy. Maybe I taught them too well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yep, your fault, David.
I know.
Well, let's talk about Jackson for a minute. So there's this sweet little boy.
Oh, gosh. I thought you said you weren't lying.
I'm not lying. This cute little blonde-headed boy that he just wanted to be y'all's friend. And it's funny because he rotated through y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 week, y'all were here was Branson. The next time was Mason. The next time, actually, Avery got in there too.
Yeah, Avery a little bit.
Yeah. And the next time was you. And I remember one time Jackson got hurt riding his bike through the woods to Mama's or something. And he said y'all made him stay up in that little fort until he quit crying because y'all wouldn't let him come home.
No, it wasn't that he couldn't come home. He couldn't come home crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't go home till you stop crying.
We were traumatized by all the times that he cried before and we got in trouble. It's really, you can't go back yet. You can't go back.
Well, remember y'all used to play Monster in the house.
Yes.
So Monster was when they would cut all the lights off in the house.
The whole house was pitch black.
Yeah. I would go sit on the front porch. Okay. So I'm out there and you'd hear them.
Yeah, and we would have to walk through the house, and our dad would be hiding somewhere, and we'd have to try to find him and I guess fight him, but he would always obviously beat all of us up. And in pitch black, you couldn't see anything.
And y'all would use Jackson as bait.
Yeah, we always, every time we go down the hallway, we just push him down the hallway, see if he's down there. And then
See if I come running out.
Yeah.
And I would sit on the porch and I'd get that motherly feeling of something's getting ready to happen. And before I could get up from that rocking chair, I'd hear, and then you'd hear, boom, 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 boom.
As soon as we would throw Jackson out there, and then our dad would yank him up, we would always take off running. But one time he got hurt and he started crying. And as soon as we heard his first cry come out, we all took off running upstairs and tried to hide.
It's probably better for him to be pushed up front because when they took off running, you didn't want to be behind them.
Oh, yeah,
turn around and just trample everybody.
We would run all over each other.
And God love him. I mean, Jackson was little. He was 5 years younger than y'all.
Super, yeah, he was
but
very
he
little.
wanted to be slap up in the middle. I want to play Monster with the brothers. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got blood pouring out your face. It's okay. I want to play Monster with the brothers.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
I remember snatching Jackson up, and then they would come and have to try to save Jackson from me.
They wouldn't save him. They just sit there and be like, can you fix us some popcorn?
Then I'd snatch whoever's trying to save him. I'd snatch them up. And
it's probably Mason. I can see y'all throwing Mason to the wolves next.
Yeah.
Mason, you couldn't hold on to him.
He's a squirmy little thing.
Mason, he could be a contortionist.
Yeah.
He can brush his hair with his feet laying on his stomach with zero effort. Zero effort.
Yeah.
So we've always enjoyed picking on Mason about his flexibility.
Yeah.
And I remember when we went to the Whitewater Rafting Center and somehow or another, I ended up pulling me, you, and Jackson in those kayaks. And I look back there and I'm thinking, this is hard. And I'm like, what? You know, I look back and you're just all kicked back with your feet up, looking in the sky. And I'm like,
nice and comfortable.
Help me out there. Help me out.
Yeah. So here's your opportunity to give us some of your words of wisdom. So I want
plenty of those.
Yeah, I know you do. So speak to other kids out there. I know you're not a kid anymore, but you were a kid at that time. So you got all these other kids that are probably were your age, somewhere thereabouts. Some of them are even teenagers in early 20s, and they're still struggling with this blend. What advice would you give them?
For all the kids out there, it's hard as a child to understand and to have sympathy, and but the step parent is going through the same thing you're going through. You're new to them, they're new to you, everybody's new to each other, and then if you don't like them, that weighs on them a lot. And I would say to kids, just try to be as best you can understanding that step parent is going through the same thing you're going through, and they're not used to that either. And to definitely be patient with the step parent and realize that this is a new role for them. It's a new chapter of their life that they're stepping into. And it's not easy being a parent, much less a parent of kids that aren't yours. So it's hard for the step parent as well. So
not being a parent of kids that aren't yours.
Or not being a parent.
It was harder not to parent you than it was to parent you.
Yeah, but I would say kids just to try to be understanding and be patient to that parent and try to sympathize with them and also put effort in as well. Because at first we didn't put any effort in to try to like you or get to know you more. It's really all you and dad. But I would say for kids to try to make it a two-way street and try to put in effort as well to get to know the step parent and make them feel comfortable around you and make them feel welcome and at home.
All about building that relationship.
All about building that bond, that connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to say that I have a lot of good memories with y'all, and it's easy to let those be overshadowed by the bad.
Yeah.
But we have had so much fun together with
a ton.
Waking you up in the middle of the night saying, I made cupcakes. And I'm like, come eat them. And they're like, what? Like, you got to come eat them now. Or,
some good cupcakes, though.
The pumpkin hunting and the riding the go-karts.
Now, what about the maze, the cornfield maze?
Oh, Lord. Do you remember that?
I do. Remember whenever we got to the end, I said something on the microphone.
Yeah.
You don't remember what you said?
I said, like, you're all losers.
Yes, you
something
did.
like that.
Yeah.
You said, to all those people still out there, you're losers.
They were like, tell them some words of encouragement. And I was like, you're all losers. We did it.
Ethan.
Yeah, and he's like, 9 years old?
Yeah, super young.
I don't even think we were married yet.
I don't think so.
It's funny because we have pictures of us going through this cornfield maze and everybody's happy. And then you can tell throughout the pictures that the look of disgust just overtakes everyone's face.
Because we were in the cornfield maze for like 4 hours.
Yeah, we were walking through that maze just about all day.
It was horrible.
We could never find our way out.
We finally got out, and the lady's like, okay, when we're all up there, and Ethan jumps up to talk on the microphone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, what do you have to say to all the people out there? And he's like, oh, you people still out there, you're losers.
I know, and I'm snatching them away. Come on.
I think I walked off by that point because I knew it was coming. And then what else was it I was thinking about a minute ago? Oh, us roasting each other in the car. All of us,
yeah,
the brothers and
a roast session in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Jackson.
Yeah.
And we were talking about your first girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. Good time.
Yeah, that was their opportunity to talk junk about you without you getting mad.
That was Jackson's only good joke.
No, Ethan and Branson, they always pick on me. They've always picked on me. Especially Ethan. Me and you have that picking relationship more than the others. Yeah. And it's like the Jiffy cornbread. Ethan loves Jiffy cornbread.
Cornbread and milk. Go try it if you haven't. It'll change your life.
And he put a box of Jiffy cornbread on the stove one day with an index card that said, Lori, you know what to do. And of course, I run the Nacho Kids group, and I put a picture of that in the Nacho Kids group. I didn't put anything other than like my stepson left this for me. I mean, nothing else. They would have burned you at the stake for sure.
Yeah.
I probably told you need to divorce me for that.
Oh my gosh. It was hilarious. But again, they didn't know our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I ended up making it for you. I mean,
I think you did. I was very happy with that.
Yeah, but that's just how we are.
It worked.
I'll do it again.
I enjoy picking on you, and we enjoy laughing and cutting up. And that's just something that you and I have always had. And it makes it so much easier now that you have poor decision making with relationships.
That is not true.
Now Lori gets to pick on him more than he gets to pick on her.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because he's not here to see what I do.
I know.
It is bad, though, that when Jackson does something, I can't go, David, he learned that from your kids.
Yeah, because we're not there anymore.
No, trust me, he does stuff a lot worse than y'all.
No, he does not. He's a good baby boy.
I believe it.
Oh, is he? Is that why you were asking me to pray for you earlier?
So I was afraid that once the brothers moved out, that they wouldn't have any contact with Jackson. Mm-hmm. So Jackson was 4 when we got married. So he doesn't remember life without y'all. Mm-hmm. And he knows y'all aren't his biological brothers, but y'all are his brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've heard people ask him, does he have any brothers or sisters? And he'll say, I have 4 brothers. He doesn't say stepbrothers. He just says brothers. Now, if they keep on with the conversation, he may divulge. Mm. But I was so afraid that he was going to feel abandoned. I mean, because we went from you treated him like the redheaded stepchild to y'all built this bond with him, and then y'all left him. And when I found out that y'all still had contact with him, I was like, I wanted to hug y'all so bad and be like, thank you. But I know you didn't do it for me. You didn't do it for me. You did it because you have that bond with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackson's really cool now. Yeah. I like Jackson a lot now. He's really cool.
Just wait. Just wait.
I'm sure he's cool because of you, right?
Only because of me.
Between you and Branson teaching him all your stuff that you know?
Yeah.
I remember Branson trying to get him to invest his money. And Jackson said, all right, I'll invest my $1,400. And he said, if you can guarantee me that I won't get less than $1,400 back. And Branson's like, no, you could lose money. And Jackson's like, that's stupid. I ain't doing that. I'm like, that's my child for sure. Not a gambler.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I asked you about saying something to the kids. You did that. Mm-hmm. One question that people often have, especially stepmoms, is they're wanting to kind of get into the minds of the stepkid. Mm-hmm. Like, what can I do differently? What can I do better? How does it look and feel to them? So if you had a room full of stepmoms, mm-hmm. or possibly a podcast where thousands of stepmoms are listening,
I might do that.
What would you say to them as far as what makes the biggest impact? I
would say, I know it's hard, but try your best not to take it personal, because they don't know you. The kids, they don't know you. They don't know you for you. All they know is that you're not their mom. That's all they know, is that you're not their mom, but you're trying to be that mother figure. So I would say, don't take it personal. Try to be very, especially with step parents, be patient with the kids. Try to get to know them, but don't come on too strong at first. Don't try to act like their mom at first, or try to give them all these orders. Not that Lori did that or anything, but
why are you winking?
But like just try to take it slow, take it nice and slow, because they're kids. They don't know much, especially, I mean, if they're younger kids, of course.
Wait a minute. So you're saying you didn't know everything?
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, I did, but most kids don't. The average kid wouldn't. but yeah, just I would say be patient. Be patient. Try to get to know them and get them comfortable around you. And once you are all comfortable together in the same space, start trying to ease into the motherly roles, ease into that position. And if they do resent you and don't like you, don't take it personal, because they're just as confused, if not more, than you are. So I would say be patient, get to know them, build that bond first before you try to do anything drastic.
I'm so glad you said that, because the first thing you said about the kids is to realize that the stepmom's also struggling.
Mm.
And it took us going through what we went through and me stepping back before I even thought about y'all. Not that I didn't care about y'all, but I looked at it like y'all weren't going through crap. You didn't move houses. You didn't, all this stuff. Your life didn't change that much, whereas mine was just complete crap. And so I couldn't see past my own hurt and struggles to think, you know, these kids are going back and forth from house to house once a week. Mm-hmm. You know, in the beginning, y'all were only going like 3 days out of 11 or something out of 14.
It was such a weird schedule.
Yeah. Then when y'all went to 50-50, once things got better with us, I remember one time I missed y'all. I'm like, oh, I miss them. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you moved out, I didn't think I'd miss you. I mean, you know, I knew I'd miss you a little bit, but like, I couldn't wait for you to come home. I'm like, I'm probably more excited than your dad was about it. Cause I'm like, oh, I can't wait for him to come home. You know, it was just one of those things that I didn't expect me to feel that way about y'all. And again, it's not that I didn't care about y'all, because I cared about y'all from the beginning. And that was one of the hardest things, was me telling you to brush your teeth was because I did care.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I was doing the right thing. I had good intentions. I wanted you to have a pretty, beautiful smile. And you took it as this evil, hateful woman keeps telling me to brush my teeth. And so the way things went was not how I guess either of us intended.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, you were, you know, go do your chores, go clean up after yourself. Something we were supposed to do, but we just didn't want to hear from you, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to be responsible adults, so you'll move out quickly.
And I remember one time, we know your mom didn't make y'all do chores like we did, or like your dad did. Let me rephrase that. And I remember Branson sitting there. He was the worst. He would sit there and go, y'all were slave drivers. And I mean, they had a chore of like dust the living room. And your dad was talking to Branson the other night, and he said something about laundry, or somebody did.
He said he had to go do his laundry.
And I just busted out laughing, because in my head, I see 10-year-old Branson flailing on the couch. I don't want to do laundry. I mean, just for 30 minutes, that child screamed and cried about not wanting to do his clothes. And that just pops in my head. So every once in a while, things just pop in my head. But one thing we didn't talk about, Ethan, was you doing donuts in my car.
That was a great time.
No, it wasn't. I about threw up everywhere.
I think I just drove her car like around the block.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have my license yet, I don't think. And then she let me drive her car around the block just for like a few minutes. So then when we came back to the driveway, I looked over and I was like, you know what, I'll do some donuts real quick in the yard, and I'm sure she won't care. And I was like, Lori, watch this. And I just started doing donuts. She's like, Ethan, stop. She's like, oh, you're going to kill us. Stop the car.
And then it wasn't long after you got your license, you're like, hey, can I take your car? I'm like, no. You've never driven my car.
No, I haven't.
Nope, you never will.
You want to know what Lori did? She came in and she started telling me what happened. And then she looks at me and goes, it's all your fault. They drive like you. And I'm like, what?
You can't tell me, Ethan, that you don't remember your daddy breaking the speed of sound down the driveway and slamming on brakes at the house and riding through the front yard. And
oh, yeah. He would drive backwards.
Don't tell on me.
Drive backwards, drive down the whole driveway, and then he would turn around and spin it forward. And he drives. He's a really great driver. He does all these cool tricks. So I had to try it out for myself.
No, it was stuff he learned in Copville.
Yeah. It's tactical driving.
Yeah, but you don't need to teach your kids that stuff.
I have a natural ability for tactical driving.
But see, now that he's in security forces and Air Force, he can apply all that stuff he learned.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, can't wait for you to be a professional MMA fighter.
Yeah.
For you to find a lovely young lady that respects you and loves you for who you are, and for y'all to have me a sweet grandbaby.
I can't wait either.
Because you're going to make the prettiest little babies.
Yeah.
He's a pretty boy, for all y'all that can't see him, that are just listening to the podcast.
there's any stepdaughters out there.
Oh, Lord. We better end it on that.
Yep.
I get fan mail
And
already.
now you wonder why I said what I said about him being 16. I used to call you Romeo.
You saw me Romeo?
That was your nickname at work and stuff. I'd be like, oh yeah, Romeo did this because that's just how you are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Real ladies man.
Gets it from
Guess
his
where I get
daddy.
that from?
Yep.
Yep. I can't say anything.
No, you can't, David. But at least he got one thing that I said.
He did.
Yeah. I don't lie to people, even if I hurt their feelings.
But
That's
what's the one thing that I told you if I never teach you anything else?
I'll never forget it. All women are crazy.
And that has served you well, hasn't it?
Very well. It's got me out of a lot of situations.
And what keeps putting you back in them?
I don't know.
That reminds me of, I don't remember what it was. For some reason, we were videoing Jackson. He's, I don't know, 6, 7. We're videoing him. He's walking into the living room.
He asked me where something was, and I told him. He said, "Man, moms know everything." And then you said something, and he said, "Well, David said all women are crazy." It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
Really?
I think
it
he said
is.
moms know everything, and you were like, "Yeah, aren't we awesome?" And he's like, "Yeah, but all women are crazy."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I don't know why we were filming him, but he said that was hilarious. That's
And he still,
yeah. Anyway, Ethan, thanks for being on the podcast.
yes.
No problem.
Thank you, Ethan.
It's been a wonderful time.
Yeah,
And you're awesome.
we'll
Thank
have you
you.
back again at some point.
Yeah, I'll be back.
And
be back.
talk about how things are as you get older.
Yeah.
Making sure you don't need counseling for the stuff Lord put you through.
I'm going to refrain.
All right.
Watch, I nachoed.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. Any parting words, Ethan? Or are you all done?
For all those people out there, keep a positive mindset. If you have positive thoughts, you'll have a positive life. So keep your thoughts good and stay positive during your journey through your step family life and chase your dreams.
And he didn't even take the Change Your Stinking Thinking challenge.
I know.
The what?
I have a 30-day Change Your Stinking Thinking challenge
Oh,
in the academy, and it helps you to be more self-aware of your thoughts.
yeah.
You know, because we have negative thoughts.
Mhm.
We have those ants, automatic negative thinking. Long story short, it's basically to help people change their mindset because you can train those thoughts to be positive,
Yes.
but you have to break that habit because your mind actually works against you because it's trying to protect you.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So much of your success in making the blend happen is about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. We're done for today.
That's right.
I'm sure Lori and I will cap this off with our own outro later. But for now, thanks again, Ethan.
No problem.
Thank you,
It's been
Ethan.
wonderful being on.
Hugs.
Oh, hugs all around.
Yay.
Oh, I'm sore.
I can't mess up your hair.
Yeah, don't do that. It's sacred.
All right. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. It's nice having me on.
Goodbye. That was fun.
Yes, it was.
I enjoy those fun trips down memory lane. But I will say, it's still hard, even after all this time, to be so open publicly with our struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I think more so for me because, it was all my fault. But no, seriously, I think that people may underestimate how hard it is to share things like that.
Mm-hmm. Something that a lot of people don't know is we actually started this podcast, 3 years before it actually first aired? Because we got about 3 episodes in and decided that we just weren't ready. We weren't ready to be so candid. And that's where we wanted to be. We wanted to be at a point where we could have that candid conversation about what we went through and hopefully allow that to help other people.
And I'm a fairly private person. Now, if I meet you, I'll talk your head off and tell you stuff you probably don't ever want to know. But like as far as Facebook, I don't share stuff. I'm just not a public type person.
Well, it's also, it's fairly easy to get out there and talk about your successes, but we're not talking about that. We were going out there talking about how bad we screwed up and the failures that we had. We're taking the worst of the worst and putting it out there. That's tough. It's tough to do.
So for us to sit here and share the bad times is not pleasant, but we do that in hopes of showing people how far in the hole we were and how far we've come.
Mm-hmm. And you can do it too.
Yep.
So keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. That is your new phrase for this year. Keep on keeping on, and life is good when you nacho.
Yeah. And just remember, if you're doing things the wrong way or they're not working, probably shouldn't say the wrong way, because what's wrong for one may be right for the next person. But if you're doing something that's not working, don't double down on it. I don't understand why people keep doing that. They're like, oh, well, if I just do this more, it'll just start working.
Oh, well, we see it all the time in the Facebook group where a counselor or a therapist or whatever tells a stepmom, you just need to love them more.
Oh, I know. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You just need to, let them walk all over you more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you don't learn anything else, learn that when things aren't working, then change. Find something different. Don't just go down the same path. Double down on what you're doing, just not working, and keep going in the same direction that's not working. Don't do that.
And some people will say, well, nachoing's just letting people walk over you. No, it's not. It's not engaging.
Yeah.
It's not emotionally interacting or reacting to situations that are negative.
Yep. No, if you're properly nachoing, you have all the power in the situation.
That's right.
All right. So I guess we'll come back again.
Maybe.
In the new year.
It is the new year.
That's what I'm saying. Again in the new year.
Oh my gosh. Well, we didn't mention this in the beginning. This is the month of men.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, so Ethan's kicking off the month of men.
Yes, he is.
So every Friday
in January,
in the month of January, every one of them's going to be interviews with men.
One of them may be an interview with a couple.
Okay.
But there will be a man.
Cool.
And if I have to go get the neighbor Billy Bob over here to be one of my guests because I'm running short, that's what I'll do.
Well, good. Because we need the male perspective. The correct perspective, should I say.
I will warn you, one of the interviews I did with this one man, it's really long. Like longer than my normal long. But it's so good.
Well, as long as it's good.
It's good. All right.
Okay, so that's our show for this week, folks. Make sure you join us next week for another show next Friday. And until then, remember, life is good
when you nacho.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nacho Kids Podcast. Find us online at nachokids.com. Until next time, remember, life is good when you nacho.